The Justin Robert Young podcast, brought to you as always by everybody who supports us at PayJuryDaily.com. We have some new grand jurors in the house. If you want to be one of them, get your name read at the end of the show, well, it's only one place to do it, and that is at PayJuryDaily.com. It's a fun place to be. And you want to know what? The thing I like the most about doing a multiple times a week show is that I think that this format is very personal. You tend to have a very personal reaction to something that you do every day. And hopefully you all have little routines that I can help make better, routines that I can help continue to bring you guys joy. So if you like that, if I have wormed my way into your daily routine, then please do consider making sure that this show is rewarded for its efforts. PayJuryDaily.com. Also, stickers or DIAF.com. I'm just saying, get your orders in this weekend. Get your orders in this weekend so I can get you these pins, these buttons, these stickers, merch from this show, Politics, and Night Attack. Only place to get it is at stickers or DIAF.com. But enough of talking about how we support the show. What do you say we just do the damn thing? Oh, it's Thursday, friends. Thursday means only one thing, and that is that we crack open the mailbag. We get all of what you guys have on your mind out into the open, and we, of course, end the show's weekly production by digging into the foremost blade of intellectual curiosity with high thoughts. But before we start that, let's go ahead and get into what you guys had to say. And we got a good mailbag here. Carby Carberson says, "Hey, jury, Carby Carberson here. After listening to your blackfishing comment, in which people are taking great efforts to change the color of their skin, it got me thinking. When do we start dealing with people officially identifying as other races in the same way that people identify as other genders? My experience has been that today's minorities savor their uniqueness and aggressively take a stand against those who are trying to get into or identify with their group. But is that the difference that a male is there a difference between that and a male identifying as a female or vice versa? In both cases, one's feelings or personal proclivities differ from their physical attributes. I'm guessing that in the not too distant future, our society is going to have to decide where and if we draw lines with race the same way that we draw lines with gender." Okay. Now, I'm going to hold my initial reaction to the phrase "today's minorities," but I do want to answer this because I do think that it is kind of important. We've seen a few of these already, by the way, from each and every different angle. You know, we saw a Rachel Dolezal, who was working at a local chapter of the NAACP, a white woman who was identifying as a black woman. One of my favorite newer Dave Chappelle jokes is that he supports her and he really wants to meet her so he can call her the N-word to her face, which I think is funny. But also Shaun White. Shaun White is somebody that is a very influential and popular commentator on race issues in the New York Daily News. And yet, you know, you take a look and look at some old photos of Shaun. Looks pretty white. He said that he's biracial, but you take a look at the parents that are listed on his birth certificate and seem pretty white. We haven't quite seen a gigantic news story about somebody going the other way, identifying as black, or a black person identifying as a white person. At least in terms of, you know, presentationally. But I'm sure it's coming. Look, here's the deal. My read on this, and I would be very, very ingratiated to have people of all races write in on this, but this is my sense of it, right? This is just how I call it. The issue with cultural appropriation has less to do with the act and has more to do with the preamble. It has more to do with the fact that there seems to be like, okay, wait a minute. How do you treat us like garbage forever? And then all of a sudden, now you want to just remove everything that we do and leave us behind. To be honest, that was kind of a theme in one of my favorite movies of the year, Sorry to Bother You, is the recasting of racism as something beyond just, I hate this person. Oh, shit. Hold on. J King 206 nails it. Sammy Sosa. Go ahead and look up a picture of Sammy Sosa. Sammy Sosa is a black dude trying to pass. I mean, he's Hispanic, right? Trying to pass as a white guy. So that is 100%. You're right. That was a big story. I apologize. The JuRY podcast apologizes for forgetting about Sammy Sosa. So I think part of it is, all right, so back to Sorry to Bother You. One of my favorite things about that movie is that some of the theme there is that racism isn't just I hate a person, I hate a race, right? But rather the idea of denial of personhood. That being of a certain color means that you are less of a human. And that plays into its gigantic, colorful ending. But I thought that's a very interesting idea because it gets us out of this concept of like, oh, do you have hate in your heart? Because like we look at hate as a very ephemeral thing, you know? Like I hate a million different, I hate movies. I hate certain kinds of food. I hate mayonnaise. By the way, Death to Mayo enamel pins available now. Its stickers are DIAF. Order now so you can get it in time for Christmas. Bing! But I don't think that, aside from some very flagrant cases, there's not a lot of, like, oh, well, in modern society, you're not going to see a lot of people say, oh, okay, I hate these people. But if you say, okay, well, this is, you know, I don't like black people, but I love rap, you know, then it's like there's this denial of the fact that that black people are people, right? So, I would say twofold. Number one, cultural appropriation is something that I think has more to do with old lingering wounds than it does about borrowing elements of culture. And number two, we're just going to have to deal with the fact that the human body will become more and more like a computer avatar the longer we go into the world, right? Like, this is just going to happen. The tools are going to get cheaper. The science is going to advance. The more people want to look like something else, the more they're going to be able to. That is just where the arc of history is bending. So we're going to see a lot more of it. I totally think that we're going to see a lot more of it. Now, how we handle it, there's the question. Stefan writes, I have a problem and I need your sage advice. I've had a season ticket for my local NFL concern for a few years and have a great time. Beers, friends, calories, maybe even some football. However, this year we hit a snag. The seat next to me became available, and the gentleman that took it up was, quote unquote, fragrant, to use a delicate term. Imagine your own personal nasal hell, then double it. It was so bad that on one occasion the couple that sat on the other side of him had to leave at halftime with the woman in a flood of tears. Judging from the amount of flags, dolls, and horns he brings with him and his strange attire and demeanor, I would say he falls in the category of a weirdo Insert 2018 complaint for weirdo here. The thing is, these are great seats, and I pride myself on being inclusive, but the BO is so strong that if we were in a Dune novel, it could be used to bend space and time. So what should I do? Please help. Yours truly, Stefan. All right. So you have these seats, and they're good seats, and you like these seats. But there is a dude who stinks of fucking BO. Man, I think that there's two ways that you can handle it. Number one, you can go to the franchise and say, hey, look, I'm a season ticket holder. I own 4 seats. The guy next to me is also a season ticket holder, and he smells really, really, really fucking bad. I would greatly appreciate it if you moved him or moved us to other seats that are of similar value. You are paying a tremendous amount of money to this organization. You are now sitting next to somebody who fucking stinks. That is, you are well within your rights to ask for one of the two of you to move. Now, whether or not they'll do shit about it, that's up to them. But you are allowed to ask. In general, I've had a few friends with season tickets. They're more helpful than you might think. So, the second way that you can handle it is to go to him directly. Now, here's where this gets tricky. Because in my opinion, the only way that you can handle this without just turning it into a fight is to befriend the man. You need to say, hey, what's up, man? Cool. What's your name? Gregory? Awesome. Mine's Stefan. And then you ease into it. Because nobody wants a stranger yelling at you saying you stink. But if one day he rolls up and you're like, oh my God, man. What is that? Is it the costume? Is it all the dolls? And he's like, oh, it might be me. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, no, it is rank. It smells really bad. Then all of a sudden he's doing a favor for a friend as opposed to having some asshole yell at him. But those are the two solutions that I would have. I would not give up those seats. Frozen Summers comes in with a hot take on Fairy Tale of New York. He writes, so I'd never heard Fairy Tale in New York. I listened to it, or I tried to, before I gave up because it just isn't I gave up before that line because it just isn't very good. Some half-ass bullshit Celtic folk punk that everyone in the band seems to be phoning it in. If it helps, I'm from Australia, and I basically knew that the Pogues existed as a band, but I had never heard them. All right. Frozen Summers. You're killing me here. Half-assed bullshit Celtic folk punk. I mean, this was recorded in 87. They fucking invented the genre. Like, if anybody has a right to do it however they want, is them. They were a genre-defining band with success the likes of which that very, very, very few have had. Like, of that genre, Celtic folk punk, there's like them and Dropkick Murphys, and that's it. So I'm here for your hot take, but I feel like you're being a little mean. Now, time might have passed the song by for you. That's fair. Flogging Molly. Sorry. Flogging Molly also, Daniel J. Newman points out in the chat. So, the Pogues, Flogging Molly, and Dropkick Murphys. Those are the only three in the genre. They define the entire space. Now, last week, I did a story about Brett Favre and Cameo. Cameo is a service that allows you to give a script to a celebrity. You pay a fee up front. They record a little cell phone video of them reading, either in general what you want them to say or specifically what you want them to say. And that's that. And Brett Favre made the news because he apologized for reading something that turned out to be something anti-Semitic. I did not expect that in my YouTube menchies, I would get some blowback. Yes, friends. The Goyim Defense League and the Proud Truth. I think was that it? Is it the Proud Truth? I'm not sure. They came a calling. They were in my mentions, calling me all sorts of names, including this one from New Ideas. This guy is a literal piece of shit. He does not care one bit about the U.S. soldiers that were killed on that day on the Liberty. What's wrong with this guy? Who decides that this is anti-Semitic? No wonder this loser hasn't got much subscribers. I would say many subscribers, not much subscribers. But mocking the grammar of YouTube people is probably, not the coolest thing to do. Anyway, so welcome, guys. You're right. I don't got much subscribers, so I'm glad that you're here. Welcome. Come on in. Make yourself at home. The water's fine. The USS Liberty. To be honest, I didn't really know much about it. But there we go. Come on in. Oh, also, guys, guess my race. Please guess my race. That would be a fun one. Guess what race I am. Come on, I dare you. I fucking dare you. Oh, guess my race. It's very rare that we can have people who are so focused on race try to guess my race. You guys should nail it. You guys should get it. Oh, on the first go. All right. JuRYDaily@gmail.com. Go ahead and write it in. Open Bayou said Proud Boys, that the Proud Boys were, but they weren't the group that were involved in the Brett Favre thing. However, I did find out something fascinating about the Proud Boys. There was. I'm friends with a very rad dude by the name of Brett Ratner. Brett Ratner was the technical director for BitTorrent News when we were on location in Cleveland and Philadelphia. He is a very funny guy, and he works with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he does a bunch of cool stuff. But he previously used to work at Compound Media. Compound Media is the podcast network created by Anthony Cumia, formerly of Opie and Anthony. And for a while, Gavin McInnes had a show there. The technical director for that show is Brett Ratner. Brett Ratner is he's a particular guy, a particular kind of dude. A little bit nebbish, maybe. A little bit nervous. Likes to go to musical theater. Gavin McInnes likes to fancy himself a bit of a man's man. And used to make fun of young Brett. Used to pick on young Brett. Used to joke with him that at his age he should be out crushing poon throughout all the 5 boroughs of New York. You should be sowing your wild oats at your age, and instead you're going to musicals. So apparently, this is all according to Anthony Cumia on the most recent Joe Rogan show. The reason why we have a group on the planet called the Proud Boys was because Gavin McInnes was making fun of Brett Ratner, my friend, and was finding random musical songs to play so he could taunt him by saying, oh, you like that? You like that more than going out and drinking and finding women and fucking them and fighting with somebody that pisses you off. That's what you like. And one of the songs that they played was Proud of Your Boy. And so, based on how funny everybody found that, Gavin McInnes started like a men's club, basically, called the Proud Boys, and they were just going to meet in New York and drink, and they were going to do men's things, right? This then dovetailed into the Proud Boys that we know today, which apparently have been infiltrated by white supremacists and are all sorts of trouble. They won't, like, Gavin McInnes is now like blacklisted from traveling to Australia. And it all started by the fact that Brett Ratner was apparently too much of a pussy for Gavin McInnes' liking. Yeah, the more you know. Well, here's something else I know. It is time for High Thoughts. What if the government gets upset that I'm
paying off a JuRY? Tennis ball shoes.
We refer to dollars as bills, so we pay our bills with bills.
If you turn an upside down cake right side up, is it just a cake?
Magic and anxiety are both misrepresentations of reality. If Jack Hanna sued
The state of Montana, would the case be called Hannah
versus
Montana? Hi.
Oh, baby. Let's go ahead and read all of the grand jurors here today. We have a couple new ones, but they did come with a controversy. Hold on, wait a minute. We're going to have to pause this. We're pausing the end of the show because I do want to let you know that there was a contribution that was made today to the JuRY Daily program, And there is a new grand juror. There's 2 new grand jurors. Number 1, Matthew. Matthew is a new grand juror. All right? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I just yell Matthew. But your friend and mine, Will Harris, is now a grand juror. His name is also Will. There's a part during when I read the grand jurors that I yell Will loud. It's a favorite. It's a crowd favorite part of the program. So Will, I'm texting with Will this morning, and I said, by the way, I'm upping my Patreon to $20 for executive producer credit. And I demand a louder Will than the Will you yell. I don't know how I'm going to handle it. I don't know whether or not I'm going to. I don't know how it's going to be there, because you have to yell Will louder than Will, but I don't know if Will's going to be pissed at me that Will isn't getting yelled as loud as it used to, or maybe I won't yell Will louder than Will. But then Will be pissed that I didn't yell his Will more than the other Will. Where there's a will, there's a way to controversy. Folks, that's what we love here on the show. So let's go ahead and get our grand jurors. The Jen, Petey Rave, Non-Specific Rock and Roll Martian, Joe Acosta, Will! Redneck Tech, James, Bill, Dustin, Middle-Aged Mike, BioCal, Robert H., Brian C., M! Trade the Melodic Command, Matthew, and Will! Folks, if you want to email the show, jurydaily@gmail.com. Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat @JustinRYoung. Join our Discord, bit.ly/JuryDiscord. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to Mr. Wacky. But more important, please don't die!
Don't you think you have had enough?
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.